When I saw that part of my life review, I heard a voice say, "Thank you for being so good to my mother."
Oh,
And when I saw that part of my life review, I heard I heard a voice say, "Thank you for not shooting me."
oh,
And another one that stands out. I was when I was the watch commander, I was called up um, to a rural area because there'd been a car go over the bank and it caught on fire, and there was somebody in the car. So I went up there to take pictures, and there was a couple of other patrolmen there, and we were looking at it and got the car up. The guy was laying across the seat like this, and he's all burned up and everything. And I told the guys, I said, "This doesn't look like a traffic accident to me." Usually when you have a fire involved, the people get like in the fetal position. They behave a little differently. So I called the sheriff's department there and said, you may have a homicide here. I said, we don't have, I said, okay, we'll take it as a traffic accident. And so this young man lived pretty close to that area. And the guy that came out was coroner. I said, well, I'll make the notification for you. And so I drove to where this was, where the family lived. And as I drove up, there was a dirt driveway. Um, I saw the lights go on in the house. And I got out of my patrol car and started to walk up, and I heard this woman screaming, and got to the front door, and this lady was really hysterical. And she said, "You're going to tell me about my son." And I said, "I'm not going to lie to you." I said, "Is there someone else in the house here that?" She goes, "No, I'm by myself." And I said, "Well, is there someone I can call?" Or and she goes, "No, just tell me what happened." And I told her, and it was really traumatic. And I said, "Look," I said, "I'll take you down to where he is, and we'll try and get somebody there to be with you, one of your friends." And when I saw that part of my life review, I heard a voice say, "Thank you for being so good to my mother."
oh,
That
wow.
had to be that young man. And by the
Sure.
way, they found some slugs in his chest. Instinct was right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to admit that when I was brought back to life from the life review, I don't know why, but I came back and I was in an operating table in an emergency room in a hospital. And there was a wonderful doctor from Pakistan there, he working on me. And I came back and I heard him say, "This guy's back." And and the next thing I know, I passed away again. And this time I had a total different experience where I kind of hovered over the bed
Hmm.
or the gurney or whatever you want to call it. And I saw the flat line, but my attention was drawn to another part of the hospital where some people were going through my belongings. It came there from the ambulance. It was on the ambulance. And I was watching them, and there were two people, and they were going through my stuff, and they were trying to find my insurance cards.
Mm.
And I tried to tell them where my insurance cards were. And a lot of policemen, and I'm one, carry two wallets. One that has your regular stuff in it, like your driver's license and social security card or whatever. And another one that has your police ID and badge in it. And I'd stuck my insurance cards in the a wallet that had my police stuff in it. And I was trying to tell them that. And I realized they can't hear me. And I thought, I must be dead. And I was deceased about 10 minutes that time. And I got revived again.
Mm.
And Sharon, I ended up hooked up on all these machines in a intensive care cardiac thing. And I just, yeah, it took a long time to recover from this. But the
Yeah.
doctor would come in and he would talk to me all the time, and he'd say, "Do you remember anything from when you were deceased?" And I said, "I do." And he goes, "Well, tell me about that." I happened to tell him about the being in the hospital and watching those people going through my belongings. He goes, "I'm going to come back." So he went down to admissions and brought those people to my bed. And he goes, "You tell them what you told me." And I told them. And they said, "That's exactly what happened, word for word." So near-death experiences. There's a time not long ago, they would burn somebody like me talking like this.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
I mean, and I'm guilty of probably misjudging people. But here I am. And
Well, I'm glad to hear. I'm happy to hear that there's people in the medical community that are hearing more and more and not, rolling their eyes or saying, "Oh, it's just your hallucination," and things
he
like that.
he was wonderful.
That's
But
awesome.
but anyways, I wanted to go home really bad. I had been in a hospital for quite a while, and I told him, I said, I want to go back to Oregon. He goes, "You need one more surgery." And I said, my children had come. I had seen them, they were still there. And I said, "I just want to get home.
Mm.
Whatever happens, happens." And he didn't want to do it. He says, finally he came in, he says, "Look, I have a colleague down in Eugene, Oregon, that I've talked to him, and he can do the procedure that I want done to you." They were both cardiologists.
Hmm.
But he says, "So once to put you on that plane, once you get off the plane, you're going to go right in and get it done." And I said, "I'll do that. I promise." So a couple of days later, I got to go, and I didn't know if I was going to make it. Getting in a plane is really difficult for me. I'm telling you, it is very difficult. But and luckily, it was a nonstop flight. So I made it there, and I went right down into a place called Riverbend Hospital. And I went and had my procedure done. And this is kind of an unusual thing because that I'm going to talk about, because I was in a recovery room. And if you live in Oregon like we do, Sharon, it rains sideways here sometimes. I mean, the wind
Yeah.
blows, and I was in the recovery room, and there was a windows behind me, and I could hear the rain hitting the windows. And I looked at it and I thought, I think I'm alive. And then I looked over to my left, and there was this old nun there. And I looked at her and I said, "Am I dead?" And she goes, "No, you're not dead." "So what are you doing here?" She says, "I'm praying for you." And I said, "Well, thank you very much." And she says, I have a request to make of you." And I said, "What's that?" And she said, "I heard you were dead a long time." And I said, "Who told you that?" She says, "Oh, it's all over. You're like Lazarus. It's all over the Bible." I said, Well, I was dead for a while, yeah. She says, do you remember anything? I said, I do. And she goes, I spent my whole life doing this. I just want to ask you some questions. And I said, well, not now. Can you give me a little bit of time? And she goes, oh, I'll come back. So I'm writing a book, and that's where I'm starting
Good
in
for
that
you.
recovery room, because I told that nun everything. She wanted to hear it. And I'm old. She was older than me. And it just brought tears to her eyes. And I told her, I said, there is a higher power. There is. Don't let anybody tell you any different. And so that's how I'm going to start my book.
That's
Recovering. And
beautiful.
as I tell the story, it'll be all the stuff that I experienced in my life for you.
Hmm.
And so I did that. And I've had 5,500 extra days of life right now. And my whole life changed.
I was going to ask you that. How did your life change?
I never want to be the boss again. I was a city manager. I don't want to do that again.
Hmm.
I don't want, of course, I'm too old for anything really now. I'm 76 years old. But, I just, but at the time I was like 60, 61, I think. And I had been grant writing before, but I started writing grants and stuff for homeless shelters and, stuff to help people
Hmm.
and food share. And then I didn't really want to start talking about this. I don't talk to my police friends about this. They don't understand. They're like I was before I had this happen to me. But the TV show I Survived Beyond the Back found me, and I did not want to go on.
Oh, really?
I was, but after I first talked to them, I said, "Yeah, let me think about this." I was on YouTube, I was looking at some um, rock videos, and over in the sidebar, they have all these different little YouTube things.
Hmm.
And there was a little YouTube presentation that said, or video that said, George Harrison, his last interview.
I love George
So I,
Harrison.
so I saw that and I thought, I'm a big Beatles fan. I went to the last Beatles concert,
Oh,
Candlestick Park in San Francisco.
oh, I'm so jealous.
And, uh, and I thought, I'll click on that. I clicked on that. If any of your audience wants to look at it, it's only all you got to look at is first 3 or 4 minutes or something like that. And George Harrison starts to talk about what he really should have been concerned about. And I listened to that. Here's a man who had everything: money, women, fame, fortune, whatever he wanted. But he turned out to be a real spiritual man.
Mhm.
And I listened to that and I thought, maybe that's what I'm supposed to be doing. So I decided to give the show a try. And it was very well received. The producers told me that I may have been one of the most popular of the people. They portrayed me in uniform and then
I
talked
bet.
about what had
Hmm.
happened. Uh, and then after that happened, I was getting all types of opportunities to speak, and just started to do it. And I was down in Arizona. I actually spoke to 4 groups in 2 days.
Wow.
And a guy down in Arizona was on the board of IONS board.
Hmm. Hmm.
And he was talking to me, and I actually stayed with him to save them motel money. And we became friends, and he said, yeah, have you ever thought about getting on a board of directors? You know, we have an opening here. And I said, well, I haven't even thought about it, but I have a corporate background. Besides being a policeman, I was a city manager, and I was a tribal manager, tribal administrator for a great Native American nation. I've been a university professor, a couple schools. One was Oregon Tech, and the other one was National University, and so, you know, I thought, well, maybe I should see this. So they invited me to go to Florida. So I went to Florida, ended up getting on the board of directors, and I met Yvonne Case on there. She was on the board. And we didn't interact much, but when everybody left Florida, there was going to be an election for people that to be president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and stuff like that. And she was going to run for president. She called me up and she said, you know, I see you have a corporate background. I said, well, I was an international business consultant. She says, would you like to run as a slate, you and I, president, vice president? So I got to think about it. And I said, okay, but I was brand new on the board. Well, we won. And we were talking one day, and I'd had a download. I get these downloads, and some of them are pretty drastic, where I know something's going to happen, and I'll just sit in a chair and get myself something to drink, and I can see all those colors again. It's phenomenal. And I just have stuff like that happen. I had a download in it, and when she called me, and I said, I don't think this is what we're supposed to be doing, Yvonne. So I think we're supposed to be, you and I are supposed to be starting another organization. She goes, I don't know about that. A couple days later, she had a download too. And that's what happens when you've had these types of things happen to you. You get this stuff happens. It's unexplainable. You actually have to experience it, I think, to understand it. It's like I walk into a store sometimes. I set off alarms for the store or the TSA. I mean, I set everything off there. Microwaves, because I think you have a different electronic type
Yeah,
field
your
up in
system
your
is
body.
different.
It's not normal, and you just learn to live with it. And some of the premonitions you get, like I was just driving up the coast and something told me to pull over. I pulled over, and the next thing I know, there's a logging truck on the wrong side of the road coming right at. If I hadn't pulled over, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. So I started to listen to my inner self or my senses, your gut, and it's there for a reason. But anyways, we ended up resigning at the same day, and we went and we started Spiritual Awakenings International. It's for all types of spiritually transformative experiences, like Kundalini awakenings, near-death experiences, mystical experiences. And our thought was to bring everyone together. And we decided to do it on an international level. That was 4 years ago. We're in 93 countries now and still growing.
That's amazing.
It is phenomenal. And that's how I met you, was through that. And I would encourage your audience, if they get a chance, to get on our website, www.spiritualawakeningsinternational.org. Take a look at it. I think you might enjoy it. And a lot of affiliated groups, like your group, for example, your organization. There's a lot of resources there. And we have monthly presentations, both in English and Espanol. Our Espanol is just growing like wildfire. And we have sharing circles, which are my favorite, where you're with people from other parts of the world. Like we just had one, and I was the only guy from the USA. There was somebody from Spain, somebody from the Netherlands, somebody from Australia, somebody from Japan, somebody from Mexico, and somebody from South America. We're all in one little group.
Isn't that
And
amazing that we
here we
can
are.
connect through the whole world?
Here
Yeah.
we are. And that's
Mhm.
because of what Yvonne and I created, something special for the world. I think we
Right.
did.
That's awesome.
And
Thank you.
we don't charge for anything. It's strictly donation based. We make enough to get by, but it's experiencers for experiencers. And I would encourage your audience to take a
Check
look
it
at
out. Check it out. Yeah.
them.
Yeah, I've always said that I mean, it took me 20 years to be able to talk about my experiences. And well, mine was 20 years ago, so there wasn't a lot of groups that I could talk to or people I could talk to. So it's people that have experiences, they don't have to be an NDE or a near-death experience. It could be mystical or spiritual transformative or just something that they can't even explain, don't always have someone they can talk to.
And that's what's good about our group. And
Hmm.
for example, everybody thinks of a near-death experience as going up into a light, and that happened to me. But I had another one too, where I hovered over watching them go. So on one day, I had two different near-death experiences. They were totally
Right.
different.
Yeah.
So they don't have to be the same. There's not a strict protocol. And I
Yeah.
still don't tell my police friends. Sometimes I'll get a call and say, "Well, Robert, I saw you I saw you on a show or something." Oh, so that I can't, they, that mindset doesn't accept it. And I realize that.
Is that like agnostic or just what mindset, can you explain a little bit what that
No,
mindset is?
I really
Okay.
can't. You just become hardened, and you're calloused. And now I'm not saying everybody's like that,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
one time I was driving to Arizona, and I didn't even know that show I Survived Beyond and Back was on. Um, didn't know it, but I pulled into a truck stop to use the restroom, and it was a truck plaza. I went in there, and I actually passed a group of men and truck drivers were all in this little room there. And they looked at me as I went by. I was in the restroom, and some guy comes up to me and he goes, "You're the guy that's on the TV show." I said, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah, we were just talking about you and you just showed up. And can you come talk to us?" I said, "Well, I'm kind of busy right now." Come in, because I saw them. So I went in there, and you can't believe the amount of people that are looking for something
Yeah.
other than traditional religion.
Hmm.
And the same trip, I went down Interstate 10 to Los Angeles, where I used to live and stuff. And there was an In-N-Out burger that I used to go to all the time. I thought my cardiologist is going to kill me for this, but I got to have a double double with grilled onions. So I pulled in there. I saw a couple of patrol cars there, but the place was packed. And I'm standing in line, and this really nice young police lady comes up to me and she goes, "You're the guy that's on TV. That we saw you on a show. You're the policeman." I said, "Well, that's the rumor." And she says, "Would you like to come sit with us?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll come there." You don't realize how many people are looking for something.
Yeah. It's true.
There were two after the show was aired. Some friends of mine told me, we heard about you on the Mark Levin show and the Michael Savage show. I didn't even know who these guys were. They're talk show hosts, but they're both avid animal lovers. And one of the things I forgot to bring out during my life review, as I was watching all the things on the left, I saw this fidgeting on the right, and it was my dog Scooter that had died in 2001. She was so happy to see me, but she couldn't come to me. But I kept
Aw.
looking at her, and I didn't know there was an afterlife. I didn't know about life review. I didn't know that animals were there. And I talked about that in that television show. And apparently Mark Levin and Michael Savage talked about it the very next day after it was aired, because they're
Mm.
huge dog lovers. So I'm talking too much. I've been
No,
going
no,
for
you're not. No, you're perfect.
yeah,
That's perfect. No, I love it. And what you're saying is so true that people want to know what happens to us when we die. That's one thing we all do.
that's
Every
one
single
of
one
the
of us.
top 10 questions of all time. And I don't care what time period you're in, what's going to happen to me when I die?
Yeah.
If you listen to George Harrison, for example, well, there's a clear message there.
Yeah.
And
Well, one of my all-time favorite songs is My Sweet Lord. I play that song every day. Yeah. It's just,
spiritual
I love
man,
it. Hmm.
spiritual.
Yeah.
But if your audience, if you ever want to have me come back again, I'll do it. Or if
Yes,
you ever
definitely.
I'm in Oregon. If you have a conference or get together, I'll drive up there.
Oh, that would be amazing.
It's a real honor to be here with you, to talk to your audience. And if they should want to get a hold of me, they can do it through you, or they can get on that Spiritual Awakenings International website and click on the contact part. And,
Great.
and
Great. Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Robert. It's been a pleasure and an honor myself.
I,
And
sorry I talked so much.
no, no, no. Well, that's why I invited you on, so you would talk. Okay. You did not. No, no, no such thing as talking too much. Believe me. But yeah, I would love to have you back on and
Anytime.
connect some more for sure. So I'm part of the group now, so you know.
Oh yeah, you're affiliated with us now.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So it's just part of the deal. Well, thank you. And next time we talk, I would love for you to talk more about the colors because we had before we started recording, you were talking about how since your NDE that how the colors are just something that you
they don't
go,
exist
yeah,
on this earth.
yeah.
Different.
I that in the music. I remember music in my
I don't remember the music,
okay.
but I will say this. We're having a conference on June 7th and 8th, I think. It's free.
Mhm.
We have 44 speakers and different topics from 14 different countries. We have an English program and an Espanol program, and we would love to see your audience or anybody um, attend. You don't have to stay for the whole thing. Pick
Well,
one year or
I'll
whatever.
put that in the details below. I'll put all that information down there.
But,
Yeah.
but it has grown so much. Our, our you wouldn't believe how our organization's grown, but
Hmm.
they'll be seeing people, and especially if they get into sharing circles, there'll be people from all over the world, and people share their experiences, and you don't have to share, but most people do, and some people don't do it first, and then next time or two they start sharing, and they feel more comfortable. Took me
Beautiful.
a while to do it, so I understand, and we understand. So,
Yeah. You
all
hear
right,
that,
and,
peeps?
and if you get down to Newport, you gotta look me up, Shannon.
I will. Don't worry. Yeah. But yeah, so check out spiritualawakeningsinternational.org. You will not be disappointed. The work that Yvonne and Robert are doing is really amazing because we need it. We need this type of thing because not everyone is having NDEs. Some people are having experiences that aren't traumatic, that way. It doesn't mean you have to have you have to have an NDE to have these experiences.
Correct. That's why we cover all the gambit.
Right. That's what I love about it.
Michael Jackson, the rock star,
Yeah.
he passed away about the same time I passed away.
Mm,
And they took him to a doctor that at the UC Medical Center that was renowned for raising the dead.
mm.
And today I actually have 5,500 extra days of life. It's been a tremendous blessing. I've been blessed so much.
So you went to the same
But
hospital?
no, I was
Oh,
in,
okay.
I was in Arizona, but
Okay.
um, he passed away around the same time, a little bit different. But what would he have given for an opportunity
Yeah,
to be able to continue? And
sure.
it's
Sure.
amazing. And
Yeah, it's a tragedy. Him and Prince. Well, I
it's a,
love, yeah.
it's a true blessing, and it's a real blessing meeting you. And
You too, Robert. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
have a good
And thank you,
weekend.
everyone. You too. Okay, wait, don't go anywhere yet. Don't go anywhere yet. Thank you,
Okay.
everyone, for watching. And please do the YouTube thing and comment and like. I'm sure you will not like this, not like this video and this conversation with Robert. So thank you, everyone, and we'll see you again.